from Lake Nona, Orlando. And I need to bring all the energy I can because last weekend I met David Goggins. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a Navy SEAL, and he brought this amazing energy that I hope I can bring the same level of energy to you. So the title of my talk is Leveling Up Your Cybersecurity Career by Hacking Your Mental Programming. Throughout the talk, I'm going to speak in a lot of cybersecurity metaphors that I think all the nerds would really appreciate. Oh, I gotta stay in the middle. Okay. Well, let's start off with a joke. Someone gave me this keychain. I don't know who watches soccer, but he said, life can get a little messy. Literally, right? And that's where I want to start, is with my messy story. So October 2nd, 2023, 6 months ago, I was logging in for work like any other day. Logged into Slack, logged into my work MacBook, and I get the Slack message, and it's like, hey, I need you to jump on the Zoom right now. And I have no idea. I know that the guy that messaged me is the VP for engineering, but I have no idea why he's messaging me, and he's telling me to jump on a Zoom. So I'm thinking it's like something engineering related. I'm like, okay, fine. I jump on the Zoom, and come to find out, HR is with him on the Zoom call. And he just says, hey, Jennifer, I'm really sorry to tell you, but you're being let go, you and your entire team, including the vice president. Your jobs have been eliminated due to automation. I recorded the phone call because I wanted to make sure, I wanted to get clarification. Like, is it something I did? No, you and your team were excellent. You and your team were awesome. You're just being eliminated due to automation. And I said, wow, I didn't realize humans, their value could be reduced down to automation, right? So I have a Steve Jobs quote up there. I love this quote. This is one of my favorites. There's going to be a lot of Steve Jobs quotes. But you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will connect in your future. So, after I got off the phone call, I'm in a state of shock, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. I can't believe, working for a huge company like that with all these crazy benefits, making six figures, and wow, just like that, I have been eliminated due to automation, right? So instead of looking at that as my worst day, I started looking at that as the first day of the rest of my life. And what do I mean by that? Because life gets a little messy. And when it does, you have a choice. You have a choice whether, are you gonna let them letting you go be the end of it? Be the end of your career? Or are you gonna let that be the beginning of something new? So in a really strange way, I got off the Zoom call, and by the way, in the Zoom call, they said, your accesses will be terminated. Yeah, because CrowdStrike is good like that. Your accesses will be terminated immediately after this call. So ask whatever questions you want because you're losing access to all systems immediately. So I'm like, I was, asking them all the questions. I hung up the call, and literally like they said, everything vanished. Credentials vanished. I got locked out immediately. They're like, we're going to be sending you a FedEx box so you could send back the MacBook. And I'm like, I don't know. I may keep this MacBook after this. But okay, fine. I don't want to do anything illegal. I don't want to be on your bad list. So, I send back the MacBook. And in a really strange way, I felt this sense of relief that I cannot explain. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this. But when you're working amongst the elites, right, at a company like that, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. I remember taking the CCFA exam 3 times, and I'm like, I cannot get this. This is difficult. And I just always dealt with this crazy imposter syndrome working there. Like, it was crippling. I had so much insecurity, and when they said the words, "You're being let go," a small part of me was like, yes, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. But, I had to keep my game face on. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. How much is my severance? Oh, okay, I'll be good. So I had to act devastated. But deep down inside, I was not entirely devastated. I was actually relieved. And, the first 18 years of my career, I spent in the military, working for government agencies. So many three-letter ones, DHS, FBI, Treasury, so many other ones, but DOD. And I said, man, I spent the first half of my career working for everyone else, but maybe this is a sign that this is my time to do the things that I've been wanting to do, and it is truly ironic. The irony is not lost on me. I got laid off, then became a career coach. The irony there is truly hilarious because I did not expect that would happen. I really didn't. I didn't know what to expect. All I knew was my life today looks nothing like it did 6 months ago. And if you did get laid off in this room, I'm here to tell you, no matter what happened, no matter what setback you have gone through, it doesn't have to be the last day. It could be the first day of something new. And, like in cybersecurity, we're always talking about malware, but I like to think that there are malicious programs running in the back of our minds, right? And they're slowing us down. They're slowing our performance. It's draining resources. I remember when I worked for, from home for that company, I dreaded waking up in the morning. I dreaded waking up. Like, I would wake up at 8:59, barely, with my eyes open, just log into Slack and just, stumble over to my laptop. The next day, after I got laid off, I woke up at 4 a.m. I have no idea what got into me, but something about not waking up for someone else, I realized I wasn't lazy. Okay? So when you hear all these Navy SEALs like Jocko saying, wake up at 4:30, get after it. It's like, well, if you're not looking forward to what you're getting after, you're not really gonna wanna wake up in the morning. But the next day, I woke up at 4 a.m. and I didn't wake up for anyone else but myself. And that really was a huge game changer because I'm like, wait a minute, malware of the mind, malware mindsets. It's stealing your personal data. It's stealing your identity. Deep down, I know I'm not a huge programmer. I'm not the best at scripting. I'm not good at any of those things. But I had to kind of make myself into that. And I remember just a piece of me dying inside doing that. A piece of me would die every time. And what I mean by malware mindsets is if you have a notebook and a piece of paper, or just take mental note, take a picture of this and fill it out when you're alone. But this is what I mean about malware mindsets. It's about, I'm not blank enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not young enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. When is it ever a good time? I'll never be as good as Steve Jobs. I'll never be as good as Elon Musk. I'm not ready. I'll just wait until my boss leaves. I'll just wait until someone else gets fired and I'll apply for their position. I'm too blank, right? We all have these malware mindsets that we program ourselves with. And I love talking about imposter syndrome because I struggle with it. And like the timeline, you don't really realize how the dots connect. But when I coach people, I don't coach because I got some certification. Mark Twain has this quote that says, never let schooling interfere with your education. And what he means by that is the real education of life, you're gonna learn outside the classroom. In life, guess what? You take the exam first, then you get the lesson later. And don't worry, if you don't pass, you'll just take the exam again. And you take it again and again and again, right? So 70% of people deal with imposter syndrome. You are not alone in this. You're not alone in this. I was like so insecure. I would literally tremble before logging into Zoom calls, and they would be like, okay, Jennifer, you have to brief this thing. And everybody on my team, they must have had IQs of 140. They were just so smart. And remember how I said that my job got eliminated due to automation? One of the 140 IQ people developed the program to automate us out of our job. So do yourself a favor. For those of you that are really good and like you're a guru at programming, don't program yourself out of a job. Because listen, he blew us out of the water, but the company was like, oh, I see that you did something that eliminated 80% of the entire team. That's interesting. What should we do with these people? Yeah, let's replace them. That's what we should do. And so that is literally, if you're an engineer, don't engineer yourself out of a job. I mean that. You gotta think smart. Play 3D chess, think strategically, think the next 5-6 moves ahead. Don't just think about, oh, I'm gonna look good for this project. Yeah, what about you? What about the rest of your team, right? Now, I don't know what he said about certifications and all that, but this is the truth about certifications. I love telling this story. I wrote a blog post about this, but no lie, I was at a SANS conference. I met this dude that has 17 SANS certification. I didn't even realize SANS had 17 certifications, but nowadays it's like there's a lot out there, right? But this dude had every single certification under the sun. He had an MS in cybersecurity, and I asked him, hey man, I was like, what's your dream? I want to be a CISO. And I was like, all right, great. I'll go send you some jobs that I found on Indeed for CISO positions in your area. I sent it over to him. Like, next day I come back, did you apply? No, I can't. I don't feel ready. And he said, how do you not feel? I feel like you've been training your whole life for this. What do you mean you don't feel ready? Yeah, I just need one more certification. There's like this one thing I'm trying to get. And I was like, but you have 17. What are you talking about? So the truth about certifications is it will not give you the confidence you need. Okay? So if you think that degree, that certificate is going to give you that self-worth, is not. Newsflash, is not. The truth is your self-worth, your self-confidence have nothing to do with little pieces of paper. And I love this meme. This is one of my favorite memes of all time. I laugh so hard because it always seems like, this is you and you're like, oh, I just need the next thing. And then these bodies are like, oh, wait, but hold on. In a way it pushes you forward, but in a way it's never good enough. And that's why I love talking about mental health. I love talking about how people in this industry, we're always chasing this never-ending carrot, right? Of just when you learn something, something else has developed and you're behind. Just when you take 2 steps forward to, get that degree, oh, it's obsolete. So it's no wonder people in this industry feel so like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, because the goalpost is always moving. Right when you get to the 10-yard line, it's like, nope, sorry, 50 yards now. And you're like, okay, I'll go run. And then it's always moving. So it's not just you. This is the reality of certifications, okay? So maybe some of you guys are students and you're like, okay, I'm about to finish my degree, or I got my degree. I'm working on, I got more degrees than a thermometer. What do I do? What do I do now? I have a whole alphabet after my name. Jennifer K. Rowan, C-H, blah, blah, A-B-C, W-T-F. It's like I got all these alphabets after my name, and, the one that I see is W-T-F. Wait, how much are the fees? Do you know how much it is to maintain? I got 2 SAN certs and that's it, because they get enough money from me, okay? It's like $350 last time I checked, every 3 years. That's just for one of my certs. You know, I have like 5, I don't remember, 5 or 6, but it's a lot of money to maintain these things. So before you jump into the next certification, just choose 1 or 2. You do not need to be paying all these people all this money, you know, because that is not what's going to make you feel worthy. That is not what's going to make you feel confident. Getting rid of the malware in your mind is what is going to make you feel confident. Reprogramming your mind with some new programs that says, yes, I am enough. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I am capable. Yes, I'm not defined by my past, but I get to choose my own future. You need to download new programs and get rid of the bad ones if you want to succeed, okay? It is not about all these certification bodies. You know, IC Squared doesn't get to dictate my self-worth. EC Council doesn't dictate my self-worth, okay? I show up, I dictate my salary because I will not, you know, I know what I'm worth, and you get what you pay for, I'm just saying, okay? So, this is where I'm gonna flash through all the practical stuff, because I know y'all came to hear the practical stuff. I never went to this meadow. Like, I never put on that dress. I never put on those earrings. This is the picture that I use for B-sides. I don't look that good. Like, I really don't. Half of me was like, should I submit this picture? Because I don't look that fine, but hey, whatever. Let's see if they could catch if AI created that. I use something called Try It On AI. $21, upload some photos. Next thing you know, I have these crazy, you know, I'm looking all fine in these photos. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like some good thirst trap photos right here. So, you know, and I never went to that meadow. I never put on those clothes. I didn't get dressed like that. You know, I'm usually in jeans or yoga pants. Like, I don't dress up like that. And that's just one. They will give you 120 photos for $21. Like, by all means, go get your photo taken in the resume room, but I guarantee you ain't gonna look that good as AI will make you, right? Cause look, I'm like, wait, hey, like, okay. But 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn now, and you only have 10 milliseconds to make a first impression. 10 milliseconds, that's it. So if they look on your LinkedIn, I tell my clients, you need to change your LinkedIn picture. And they're like, why? I like it. It's a selfie of me in my bathroom. I'm like, maybe that's why you're being paid like that. You know, maybe that's why you're being paid like you took a selfie in the bathroom. Or, you know, you want to present yourself and you want to use AI to your advantage, okay? Because, like I said, automation will either use you, but in the meantime, use it, right? Use everything you have. Use Headshot Pro. That one is, I think, $29. But seriously, it is the easiest thing. You don't have to get dressed. You don't have to go nowhere. Just upload some half-decent selfies of yourself, and they'll do the rest. And that's really important. Another thing is, you know, I work on resumes too, right? And I remember one time someone sent me their resume, and it was a JPEG. And I was like, why? Why? No wonder you haven't been getting any calls, girl. Like, no wonder. Because you have to have your resume formatted in a very specific way. It has to be PDF embedded with ATS formatting, or it has to be a doc. Oh, a docx. You cannot be sending people no JPEGs. Like, this is so sad. But I don't think people know, which is why I'm sharing the information. Newsflash, you have to have your resume ATS formatted, okay? This is how you get past the HR firewalls. Listen, think like a hacker, okay? Put your hacker mindset on. How do I get past the firewalls, okay? How do I get past their layers of defense? This is one of the layers of defense, is ATS, okay? They don't care how awesome you are. They care the resumes that float to the top. You got to get out of the people pile. In order to get out of the people pile, you have to have your resume ATS formatted. This is just a fact. Now, on LinkedIn, make sure your dates on LinkedIn, your whole timeline of your expertise matches up with your resume. Because if you send your resume and a recruiter calls, he's like, I noticed some inconsistencies. See, that is what I call a credibility problem. Then they go, why does your resume not match your LinkedIn? And you're like, well, the thing is, I didn't update, I didn't get a check. Nobody cares about your excuses. Like, literally, nobody cares. So you have to have it match, and you have to have the right skills. If you looked at my LinkedIn, I have like every single skill under the sun. I'm like, all right, basket weaving, like literally, I just have every skill because you never know what keywords will pop up, right? And always keep your resume updated while you're on the job. I can't even tell you how many clients I speak to and they're like, I did this project. I said, okay, what did you do? Something about lab configurations. Oh man, it was like 5 years ago. Where I created users and we simulated this thing, something red team. And I said, do me a favor, have a notepad on your desktop at work. And every time you finish something, write it in the notepad. Every time you receive a kudos, put it in the notepad. Put it, everything. Just keep track of it while you're on the job. Because if you don't, you're going to forget. There's no way you're going to remember all the fine details, okay? And then email it to yourself once a month, okay? That's my pro tip. Because you never know when you're going to lose access. Good thing I always had my resume updated. Now, see, this is another part that other people, that they underestimate. But, see, everybody focuses here. Knowledge, right? Everybody goes, I just need that certification. If I just, take this, I need to learn about this thing. I need to take this course. But nobody, us nerds, we don't like to focus down here. But if you read the book Emotional Intelligence, it says, I think in chapter 2, and please read the book, order on Amazon, but it says the biggest predictor of success in the workplace has nothing to do with your hard skills. Has to do with your level of emotional intelligence. And I was like, what? That's crazy, because I was working for the government at that time, and I'm like, well, no wonder I'm not getting ahead. No wonder everybody else is getting promoted ahead of me. I really need to, so there's a quiz at the end of the book that says, it tests your people skills, but also your self-awareness. And I took that quiz, and I was really shocked to find the results. And I'm like, okay, now I kind of see in the areas where I scored low, I really need to work on that. It's like a mirror. Numbers don't lie. People do, but numbers don't. And for the skills, people skills is so important. I really cannot, you got to learn how to hack people, okay? You got to learn how to, like I said, think like a hacker. You got to understand how to social engineer yourself into a position. Okay, what do I mean by that? It means you have to, not be an a-hole. You have to be kind. You have to be a team player. It's not all about you. Sometimes you gotta let the team win. You gotta show up. And even if you're not the best looking, like I'm telling you, the smartest people with 140 IQs that I worked with, they barely had any certs. I think they had 2. But they were smart. They were good at their job, and they were so humble. And people like that. People really like that. And, when we all got laid off, we started a Slack channel. And it was like a support group. We were like, man, this sucks, posting memes and stuff. And we all, helped each other. And I remember in the Slack channel, because I knew I didn't want to go back to cybersecurity. In the Slack channel, I said, hey, anybody need help with your resume? I can help out with that. I'll do it for free. I don't care. So I started helping people with their resumes. And, the people that the company laid off, they we all ended up in better positions than we did if we would have stayed. Like my manager, he became a vice president. The vice president, he got into like another SVP position. A lot of us ended up with better pay, better salaries, and better companies. And me, my journey is a little bit different. I burned the boats. I was like, I ain't going back to 9 to 5, you know. I'll crash and burn, but I'd rather burn on my own on this island. Because I went all in. And if you're gonna do something, do it all out. Don't do things, you know, halfway. Just do it all out. Are you gonna work for somebody? Then do the best you can working for that person. If you're gonna work for yourself, do the best you can. Like, don't be dibbly, you know, just like, oh, well, I'll just see. No, just commit. And that's what I did. I burned my boat, and I got offered many jobs after. I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Because my passion is coaching. My passion is writing. My passion is real estate investing, day trading. Like, that's my passion. I don't really want to go back to things that are not my passion. And I could have taken a very safe road, but I said, I've already done that. I've already done that for 18 years, and I'm not going back. So hey, you're either gonna see me on the stage or you're gonna see me on a street corner. Either way, I'm all in. And in closing, I will start and I end with Steve Jobs. You know, your time is limited. And the reason why I went all in is because I said, I don't wanna, let me read the quote, because the words are just so powerful, it gets me every time. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And deep inside, you know what you need to do. Just like when I got laid off, I said, I know exactly what I've been wanting to do, and I'm gonna go do it. You know. And nobody else can tell you, but you know. You know what that thing is. So, that's my website, if you want to scan it, and then that QR code has nothing to do with the LinkedIn. That's my actual website if you want to contact me, and then this is my LinkedIn if you want to find me on LinkedIn. But I'll leave the last 10 minutes for questions. Anybody got any interesting questions?
What are, from your personal experiences, what are like certain symptoms that you would say are like definite signs that somebody is suffering from a potential burnout, meltdown coming along? What are things that people can self-examine and be like, okay, I need to do like a health check?
Okay. The biggest like red flag for me was when I started getting really sick. Back when I was working for the government, I got really sick. I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and they couldn't understand what caused it. So with chronic diseases, that's like your check engine light. You're driving, right? And then your check engine light goes on, and that means, hey, you actually have to go get that checked out by a mechanic to figure out what is the underlying cause. And when you start taking more sick days, and as you're taking those sick days, you're not like going to the doctor, but you just don't get out of bed, that's a sign. You're like, I'm really edging close to burnout. And when you start snapping at people, when you don't have as much patience and you're just, you know, easily triggered by things, that's a sign. Hey, take a mental health day. Go to the beach. Go do something you love. Go play video games to just recharge, because you're not gonna show up right. But yeah, that's it, the check engine light.
Two things. One, the headshot website, I'm a photographer, I hate that thing. Those AI photos.
Of course. I mean, it's your competition though.
But as someone who's transitioning from a sales background who's looking to get into cybersecurity,
Yeah.
what would you say would be the best ways to do it?
Ooh, that's why I'm a career coach, because there's not a simple answer, right? And it's not linear, because it depends. Who do you know? Is there someone that you know that could hook you up?
I believe so.
Okay.
I have a pretty good network.
Okay, then that's the first thing you want to do. Use what you have now, your existing network, your existing resources, and ask them. You ask and you shall receive, but it takes humility to ask, which is why a lot of people don't ask, right? So you gotta be like, hey, I need help. Do you think that you could just help me get, whatever? And you just dictate what that is. And when they open that door for you, go through the door. Yeah, run through the door, because sometimes I have done this for people where I have gone through the help, the whole pain of opening the door for someone, only find out they're like, I'm good. And I'm like, really? Why did you waste my time knowing that you were never going to walk through that door? Please don't waste my time. I have 3 kids. Don't waste my time. So yeah, that's my advice. Anyone else?
What's your opinion on present job market? Do you think the talented ones get the jobs right now, or
Yeah, so
it's really bad?
So here's the thing. I really want to go back to this part. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Diversify your assets, well, this is my alarm clock. I love Rocky. But diversify your skills. Understand, at least have one skill that you could use as freelance work. At least one. Whether it's a photographer, hey, don't give up on photography, you know what I'm saying? Just leave it on the side. Or whatever it is, have something that you can use for freelancing. Because if you really read about the future of work, and the transition is already happening, and I'll explain how. So the company I work for is a publicly traded company. Because they are beholden to shareholders, they need to boost profits, right? It's all about profits. And they laid one senior off, and then we noticed that they reposted our jobs as 3 positions. So what they're doing is, and this is a trend that's going on right now as we speak, and that's why you hear about all these tech layoffs, right? They're taking one job, and not only are they breaking it down, sorry to tell you, but I really feel like a moral obligation to tell people, they're sending those jobs overseas. They're hiring people overseas. And they could get 7 workers for the price of 1 senior analyst. And this is just facts. This is the way it is. And that's why I say you have to diversify your skills. You have to have skills that are AI recession proof. Okay? You cannot just rely on one skill right now. I have so many commas after what I do now. I call it, there's a book called One Woman, Multiple Careers. That's me. I have a slash of careers, because I don't want to do one thing, but I also very intentionally kind of saw this happening. So when they laid me off, I actually had already 6 months of savings. I don't know why, but an intuition was something's gonna happen. And I started saving 6 months before that happened. And when you get those gut feelings where you're like, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm supposed to do this, yeah, listen to those gut feelings. It's right. And do everything you can to prepare now. And I don't know, the heydays of these crazy salaries in tech are over. You saw that with ChatGPT. How many engineers got laid off after that? They don't want to pay somebody $260. Are you kidding me? Why would they do that? It makes no sense. No errors in code. Why would they hire someone It has a ton of errors and is so slow. And but that's what's coming. That's really what's coming. And nobody may tell you that today. But I feel like I have a moral obligation. It would not be right for me to walk out of this room and paint this rosy picture. It is not rosy. It's a dirt road. So get ready. Okay.
Jennifer, a hand, guys.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.